Hello, are we live? I don't know anymore. YouTube is now rubbish for this sort of thing. They've done some weird stuff. First things first, I've got a fan going on in the background because I'm fairly sure it's hotter than the sun in this room. So let me know if that's interfering with the mic. If it is, I'll have to turn it off. So just a simple, can you hear me okay? Is the fan affecting things? Yes or no in the chat. And I've just had James from ChampManFPL tell me about why YouTube have changed some things. Exactly, yeah. So Captain just said as well, James, cheers for that. You can hear me fine? Lovely. I don't have to sweat my nuts off then. If that changes, then just stick it in the chat. Yeah, technical issues, there's no point really going into it, but they've just messed up how you go live. Hence the last 2 weeks I've put up a video of me staring into my computer blindly for a minute because I didn't realise it goes automatically live. How are we all doing then? Where's my Veron captain is at? You bastards. It is about to get horrifically warm. I'm going to Peppa Pig World on Saturday for the final day. I will be in Peppa Pig World, 2.5 hour drive to me down to Southampton. Apparently it's going to be over 30 degrees. I was in Legoland 2 days ago or 3 days ago when it was also the hottest day we've had so far. Queuing up, you know, coronavirus gone out the window, people all bunched together, no masks. When you get on the ride you have to put a mask on, yet I'm standing next to some chumps for fucking 2 hours beforehand in blazing hot heat, and it's going to be the same at Peppa Pig World. I don't even know why we're going. I've got so many vouchers bought for me for Christmas and stuff like that for the whole family, and obviously with coronavirus you can't use them, so they're going to run out. So now I'm just taking the whole family to random theme parks across the country and standing in queues under blazing heat apparently. But there we go. I'll stop going on about my personal trips to Legoland and Peppa Pig World. Afternoon, Andy. Am I still top? I am still top, I believe, by the skin of my teeth. So I'll be doing the old classic walking around Peppa Pig World while the results are going in, not knowing whether I've won in the end or not. But it'll be something to look forward to at the end of the day, I hope. Or it will just cement my pain after trying to control 2 kids in blazing heat. So Van Nistelrooy blanked. Didn't expect that, did we? But I suppose if you're chasing in any way, going Veron was definitely the play, wasn't it? So it's good that they reward it. You know, often in FPL going differential doesn't actually get you any rewards, does it? So it's nice to see that actually happened. And yeah, Van Nistelrooy got bonus in both games, as he normally does. That's his kicker, isn't it? When you got people like Owen and Rebrov who you can't fall back on the bonus. That's why they're their extra price, I guess. Andy Cole, yeah, he did pretty well, didn't he? He got a goal, definitely. Did he get any more than that? I'm not sure. We'll have to look. I can't remember. Because the turnaround is so quick now, guys, I don't really have any time to prep. Plus, I don't want to see the scores until they actually happen. So basically, I'm living it live just like you and jumping onto here moments before. So we'll get through it. 2 goals in 2 games, was it for Andy Cole? Okay. Nice. Ended up being better than Van Nistelrooy then. Love that. Before I click into the review, I'm hoping, I don't know whether it's updated, if you go to the description of this video, there should be a PayPal link. Now let me just explain that. Basically, ever since we switched over from the sheets to the site, Sean, the guy who created the site, I mean, I'm not a tech guy at all, you guys will know better than me, basically incurs a load of costs. It's to do with bandwidth and stuff like that. I'm not even going to try and explain it. But essentially, it costs money from his own personal pocket to actually run the site. I think he's in Australia, but at the end of the day it's costing roughly £50 to £55 a month to keep it going. Now obviously this is a voluntary thing, and I know you guys, a lot of you will have already donated, especially to charity at the beginning. At that point they obviously didn't know they were going to be moving to a website. So if you can find it, if you can afford it, in the kindness of your heart, click on the PayPal, send a little something if you can. This is basically for Sean to maintain the running costs of the site over the last X amount of months. I think roughly £200 to £250 it's cost. So yeah, anything you can give would be much appreciated. Anything that goes over the top of what the costs were, they're going to give back to charity. You know how these guys roll. So I'll plug that again at the end, just in case there's anyone who makes it all the way to the end through my boredom. And if the link is not in the description, which it should be, but I can't trust YouTube at the moment, I think Tala and Dave are in the chat, Andy as well. If they could stick it in the comments, and we can always edit it in afterwards. I'm going to have to close my window because there's a load of cars going mental at it. And I'm going to turn the fan off. So this will get very fast towards the end as the heat increases. It is in the link, is it, Jack? Perfect. Alright, guys. You know what to do. Yeah, whatever you can afford, guys. Right, let's get on to the review. We've all enjoyed it, haven't we? Massively. Oh, blue blah blue. I can never say that name's in the chat. Lovely to see him. Right, Aston Villa Chelsea. As you can see here, 9 shots, 9 on target for Villa. Chelsea didn't do too bad though. Probably could have got a goal. They actually dominated the game, Chelsea. Which, to be fair, I didn't really see on Sims most of the time. And in the end, a 3-0 drumming, which is pretty significant, isn't it? It's a pretty good win for Villa, that. Gareth Barry and Alpine standing out with the key contributions. Probably a little bit unlucky not to get more than an 8. And for Chelsea, Desai really the only standout with the 8. He's got a lot of key contributions here. He can do that, obviously. Forsell has been pretty unlucky, I think. I mean, when he's played, he's done pretty well, hasn't he? 3 shots, 2 on target, decent key contributions. He is a decent player, getting better because of his age. And compared to some of the other strikers that Chelsea got, that isn't that bad a ratio, to be fair. Nice, Hale. Yeah, we have to get it done. The turnaround's so quick. We all need that info, don't we, for the 38. Anyone else want to see anything else from here? Frank Lampard doing okay again for key contributions, but only getting a 7. Carboni staying on the pitch. That's nice. Not that he did anything. And the fullbacks not actually contributing offensively for once. Forsell 7 million next season. Probably due a price hike, isn't he? Especially as Jimmy's jogged on, or is jogging on. I think he's got a transfer out of here or something, hasn't he? I can't remember. Actually, let's click him quickly. Let's click him. Has he got one going? Oh no, he hasn't got one. Thinking of moving clubs, that's what I had in my mind. But maybe he goes. Bolton West Ham. Morning, Simon. Bolton battered West Ham. Well, at least for shots on target. Obviously, usually the home side does a little bit better in most games, in most situations. A lot more of the ball, a lot more shots. Lost 3-1. West Ham have got better since they've been relegated. Colin Cooper only with the 7. Gardner's turned up for an 8. 3 shots, 1 on target. Possibly could have got some more points here. And lots of shots for the forwards. Pedersen, Wallace, Ricketts. So Shaka Hislop, West Ham's keeper. And he probably is the best out of all of them they've got, to be fair. Actually turned up for once. Key headers, key tackles, and obviously a whole host of saves. I'm not sure what he got in the end. What did Hislop get points wise? Must be quite a lot. Although obviously didn't keep a clean sheet, so there is that. Izzy Irripan continues to play with his 7 positioning. But somehow managed to marshal the defence somewhat. So fair enough. Joe Cole with the assist and goal. That's good to see after last week getting nothing when they scored. Did they score 3 goals last week as well? Pretty sure they did. Yeah, they did. They've been scoring goals for a while, even though most of their forwards have been injured. Fun team. And Defoe, who was one of my outside tips for this week actually. Oh, not that I told anyone, because obviously I'm trying to keep my cards close to my chest, but I really liked Defoe for this game simply because Bolton had both centre midfielders out in Lee and Nolan suspended. Diawara ended up playing centre midfield, and obviously Colin Hendry was out. So I really did fancy them to score a few goals in this game, and obviously Defoe would be the name that I would go to. He did get a 9 but didn't score, so bad pick in the end, I guess. Ipswich, again with a clean sheet. How many clean sheets? This game doesn't do well at keeping... Well, it doesn't tell you how many clean sheets they've got. But I'm sure the guys who run the stats for the fantasy would know how many clean sheets they've got, roughly. Has any player played all the games, actually? Maybe they won't know. But there'll be a rough ballpark. Obviously, I could go through the fixtures and just count it. But it's been a lot, hasn't it? More clean sheets than some of the big teams, potentially. Incredible. Horizon still managed to get his 1 bonus. See, his cheat code mode's gone off a little bit of late. He's still, I mean, it hasn't really though, has it? It's just that other players have been getting higher than a 7 or 8, and therefore the bonus hasn't always been going his way. But guy's unbelievable, and it's this thing here, the tackles. If you have an average tackles of above 2 or 3, you're pretty much nearly always in the frame for bonus, and he just continues to do it over and over and over. It's really quite strange though, because I mean, his bravery's 18. That's really important for tackles. That's good, and his aggression is 15. Which again is good, but there are players with higher. So how he's managing to get it all the time, I think it's just the way that they set up. He must be man marking. This guy goes into the DM, which really helps. Horizon 5.5 next season, Brendan's saying. Should be more, shouldn't he? Again, it's very hard to do prices of an individual player unless you look at everyone as a whole, isn't it? So I think you have to bear that in mind. But you know, he's definitely got to be more than 4.5, hasn't he? 100%. Otherwise, everyone's just going to own him and play him every week. Matty Holland coming good again since he's come back. He's had a very steady season really for mids. It's not bad, is it? Just the bonus that lets him down. Gary Smith had Kuhl. Nice work. Yeah, Kuhl's a beast. Just doesn't get those easy home games very often, does he? And when he does, look what happens. So fair play. Newcastle, nothing really stood out. Andy O'Brien did pretty well here, as you can see. He's actually, I've said it before, he's not a bad centre back in the game. Newcastle have got some okay centre backs. Solano's, that's probably his worst performance for a while, although I'm not sure where that 4 came. Might be for Peru. Bellamy's been utterly shocking, but then slipped in a 10, and that probably was here for his international. Turns up for Wales, but not for Newcastle. Typical. At least I'm not black screen. Oh, what? James's stream? Yeah, there was some problem with the app, wasn't it? It was fine for me, but obviously there was loads affected. So, in fact, it was fine for me on my phone, and then when I tried to switch it to my TV using the smart app on my TV, it wouldn't work, so I had to go back to my phone. So I think it was just some devices or versions of the app or whatnot were being silly. Shearer obviously come off in the 63rd minute. They played him again orange, didn't they? You can just read it like a book now. 4% he went down to, so we'll have a look what he's at shortly. But that's another rip in the chat, isn't it? Gotta be. Afternoon, Marcos De Giza. I love that. I don't know if it's genuinely like a nice Italian sounding surname, or you've actually just said De Giza, like as in a geezer from England. You'll have to let me know. Either way, I'm jealous. Big rip to Al yet again. Who's been injured the most times this season? I want you guys to put a name in the chat as who you think has gone off injured in a game the most times this season. I've got a name in mind. It's probably not Shearer. I don't know for sure though. But there's a name in mind that I've got, and I think that some of you will be able to get it. Put the name in the chat if you think the person who has gone off injured in a game the most times this season. I don't know if it's right. Just who I'm thinking. Leeds and Southampton. Absolutely battered. Expect nothing less. Leeds at home are devastating. Full team. So, to be expected really, wasn't it? Well, pretty much full team. Obviously, Viduka's out injured. No, not Solano, not Wilcox. Well, not in my mind. It might be, but that's not who I was thinking of. No, Boxer's been subbed a lot. Early condition, but not injury. Andreas Reza. I think he's got it. Ronnie Johnson. I'm fairly sure Ronnie Johnson has come off injured like 4 or 5 times throughout the season. I could be way off, but he did it again this week. He's got 20 for injury proneness. and it just seems like every week he comes off well, not every week because he's not actually fit, but when he's fit he comes off injured. Could be wrong. Eric Bakker again last week. Did he score 2 goals last week? The guy's on an absolute tear. Genuinely sat here weighing up whether I was going to -4 Poyet to Bakker. Decided I just couldn't do it because Poyet is going to play. Plus Leeds could have easily been a rep 12 and then him not play. And then also Bowyer is due back for game week 38. So in the end I thought there's just no way I can do that. He could easily not do anything. But I just thought if he plays, or any of these Leeds guys play, they're in for an absolute monster haul. And I mean, you don't have to be some sort of mind reader to work that out. Look at Smith, 5 shots, 4 on target, loads of key headers. To only get 1 goal and a 9, this guy had 3 or 4 goals in him easily. Harry Kewell, 2 assists, goal, fantastic. Robbie Keane with the super troll. It's funny how it's worked out, because we said a couple of weeks ago that you can go Robbie Keane for the safety of him playing, but he probably won't score that well compared to the others. And it's just worked out. It has actually worked out that way. Robbie Keane could easily score 2 or 3 goals. He's more than capable. And obviously Smith and Bridges have rotated, but that is harsh on Robbie Keane, isn't it? Mental. Jonathan Woodgate with an absolute stormer as well here. 16 headers, 12-1, 4 key, goal. Should be a 10 as well, really, shouldn't it? Ian Hart finally gets some returns, but still lets Southampton score. Still not worth 6.5 million at the moment, really, in my opinion. Not when I know he's near the top of the defending scoring list. I think he's like in the top 5 or something, but not compared to the likes of Hariderson and Taggart, etc. There's just no value there, really, is there? But he could have been devastating in this game. Southampton, James Beattie again, 50 million headers. Didn't really lead to much though. But no one cares about Southampton today. Middlesbrough and Everton. Standard Middlesbrough game this. Keep the shots low. Keep the action low. Grind out the win. Which doesn't always work, but did for the first time in a long time. Pearson Fester at centre-back, Boyce at right-back. So much changed, isn't it? Marinelli, who can be pretty good, playing centre midfield. And Johnston with his first goal. He's been on 8 goals since game week 18 or 19, I think, something like that. It's finally come good. So we know what happened last time Johnston scored a goal. He scored about, I think he's the top scoring midfielder, believe it or not, still. That shows you how many points he got in the first sort of 18 weeks. You got to jump on him for 38 now, haven't you? Going how the postman goes. He's getting a brace 10 assist next week. Confirmed. Everton, obviously a few people will have jumped on these guys as they had a double. Rosiński, 2 shots, 2 on target, still ended up with a 6. Not great. So he doesn't win any headers or anything. The thing with Rosiński, he's as you can see, he's a pace merchant really. Pace, acceleration. He doesn't really have much else in his locker. Agility, so he can wriggle past people. More of a winger than anything, but he's got low jumping. His off the ball and anticipation isn't that high. He's alright, but not the best by any means. So yeah, when they play in away games, obviously the chances don't get created that often for the team, and if they do, they're usually aerially. So the pace merchants sometimes suffer away from home. Ket Spire with a 21st minute sub. He actually Pembridge got injured in the 6th minute, didn't touch the ball. Well, actually got a tackle but didn't win it apparently. Well, he did win it but didn't actually pass it afterwards, so it must have been tackled again instantly. And Ket Spire only had 4 passes and they seen enough and just hooked him. I imagine he was absolutely chuffed about that. However, they did bring on Xavier, who later goes on to destroy Man United's clean sheet. The bastard. Joe Max Moore on at the 6th minute as well. That's a troll of a starting lineup, guys. Andy, was that you? Giving us out the starting lineup for Everton, only to see them fail miserably and then 2 of their players change within 20 minutes anyway. Scum, utter scum. I'm joking. Sunderland and Derby. Absolute battering here by Sunderland. you know, Andy. I might have to screenshot your message earlier in the group, basically confirming that you are a troll. It's not often you get trolls admit they are a troll though, so maybe you're not a troll. Have you double bluffed us? Look at this, 63%, 18 shots, 8 on target. I mean, obviously the red card has helped here, but it's a common theme when this formation is rolled out. You only have one player on the whole of the wing. Obviously the AI we know in this game utilises the wingers for creating chances a lot, and you've basically got one player to marshal usually two, the fullback and the winger, against 4-4-2s, and it just creates lots of opportunities for the wingers. Arca with an assist, Teal with an assist and a goal. It's been happening quite a lot where the wingers will batter Derby. I mean, Phillips here surviving to the 91st minute. That was a bit of a troll for me. I kept him, played him in this game. Obviously, I'm chuffed with the fact he got a goal, but given the scoreline, I'd have expected him to be in 2 or 3 goals. And then the fact he gets injured with the last kick of the ball, it's just an absolute kick in the nuts, isn't it? Why didn't they take him off? Game doesn't think like that, unfortunately. Andy's worse than Omri. Steady. No one's as bad as him. Leicester just forgot their shooting boots in this game. 7 shots, 0 on target. As you can see from the action zones, Leicester had 52% of the play and were almost level on shots. They just, did not hit the target, and that was the complete story of this game. Nobody really, you can just tell from the 6s and 7s. Obviously, when you have home, there's usually a bit of bias for the average rating, especially for the defenders. But aside from Simon Davies' 2 goals, no one really did anything. Rebrov again with 1 shot. I think he's had 1s and 0s and not really been doing much. Salakovic, we know this, no bonus. We know what he's like. Poirier got really knackered in the game. I don't know whether he might have picked up a minor injury. Sometimes that causes condition to drop. But there isn't too much to note here, is there? Teams are just dreadful. Scowcroft had this headers thing that we've become accustomed to, where he has multiple attempts. Obviously just didn't win any. Mark Dorney saying the strat was to have Viduka Phillips and then swap between 7 million and below for fixtures. Yeah, that could have worked out. All the hindsight thing though, isn't it? I mean, Van Nistelrooy was still valid just because you just leave the armband on him, but he hasn't actually hauled all that much, Van Nistelrooy, if I remember rightly. It's been a couple. Away to Spurs sticks out. But yeah, players like Adam saying, what about Shearer? Yeah, you could rotate Shearer in there as well, because when he's been fit, he's banged 2s and 3s all over. It's only really the double where Shearer didn't score that well. Conversely, outside of that, he's been pretty fantastic when it's not been reds or injuries. That's my memory of it anyway. Could be faded. Dennis Wise and Sturridge with the early sub. What's the big problem with him? Surprising to see Wise get subbed though. Liverpool and Blackburn. Liverpool, much more of the ball, more of the shots. You can't score as usual. Never really hammer teams, do they? Blackburn went for this. The men behind the ball, defence, so didn't even try to score. Revert to classic Blackburn in the first sort of 15 weeks. Igor Bishkan. I mean, it's for 7-9, 7. It's okay, isn't it? But I think he's got man of the match like 3 games in a row, just as a result of the rest of his teammates doing absolutely sod all, and then boring to death the other team. Stephen Wright comes on in the 54th minute and ends up getting an 8. Got 2 key tackles. They must have been bloody key, I tell you that. And for me, I mean, I had Stefan Honcho. To see Honcho and Hippier, neither of them get a bonus in a home win where they keep a clean sheet. Collector's item. Mark Dorney says he's benched Biscan the last 3 game weeks. Typical, isn't it? To be fair, it's pretty valid. They've got nearly their whole team fit, but he keeps playing, which isn't always the case. Could easily get a cameo from him. Although didn't he get I swear he got a cameo earlier in the season where he came on for like 30 minutes and ended up with man of the match. I seem to remember that. Hippier takes the penalty from Owen. I'm actually happy that happened because I sold Owen for Van Nistelrooy, who got an assist. If he then got a penalty and scored it and ended up with man of the match and everything, he'd have outscored Van Nistelrooy and would have been a super troll to me. So happy Hippier took it. Arsenal and Man United. Man United a little bit more of the action, more of the possession. Arsenal did their classic defend away from home. Causes the game usually to be very low scoring. It's the kind of game we expected for the Man U Chelsea game. But this time it actually happened. Silvestre was actually pretty good outside of just the assists. He got 3 key headers, 2 key tackles, 1 key pass. There's quite a few key contributions there, so more than good for his rating. Veron with 8 headers out of 12. We know he's got the high jumping stat. That helps him out. And Van Nistelrooy, usually you see a lot more... Veron, you bastard, I'm going to have to show that. Normally you see a lot more header attempts for Van Nistelrooy at home games, don't you? But just shows you how Arsenal have set up, basically, because they've set up so defensively. The quality of chances is obviously not as good. And Andy Cole, this is the kind of thing that happens when Andy Cole plays for Van Nistelrooy. He usually ends up being more of the poacher. It hasn't really worked out like that this season. He started well, Cole, but then he's not done much, but proved to be the case here. It's kind of like that Phillips and Sibon thing where we really want Dwight York here to make Van Nistelrooy better. Henry, 1. That's a super troll from Henry, isn't it? I think a lot of people would have sold Henry for Van Nistelrooy because they probably didn't have Van Nistelrooy anticipating rotation if they'd have won the Champions, if they'd have won the league, but they didn't. So then you end up swapping him. Did Henry end up outscoring Van Nistelrooy? Probably not, but it's fairly close, isn't it? Especially if he did it for a hit. I think we said it last stream, isn't it? Henry will probably score away to Man United just to troll everyone. He really has been the game's biggest troll. I think James said on his stream as well, like if anyone's got any other answer apart from Henry as the biggest troll this season, whether you've owned him or not, it's the wrong answer. I think I have to agree. For a £13 million player to just be so erratic, you know, you could forgive anyone for over the course of the season not bringing Henry in for that double where he scored a hat-trick. Was it versus Charlton, game 1? And then didn't even turn up in the next one. It's classic stuff like that. You could have missed that because of how he's been all season, and yeah, it's just almost unexplainable because he's obviously a fantastic player. And Ashley Cole picked up the injury. Dun, dun, dun. Mark Dorney sticking his hand up on Reed to Van Nistelrooy. Yeah, I did Owen to Van Nistelrooy. Had to be done though, didn't it? If he was going to play both of them games, you just couldn't not, you know, cover him essentially. Could have gone wild easily. Fulham and Charlton. Charlton gave as good as they got here. Often quite a lot of goals in Sims for me in this. Possession a little bit more to the home side, but ended up 3-1. John Collins has returned to his former glory of late. Is that back-to-back man of the matches, or no? He just got an assist in the game, did he? Clearly, he didn't get man of the match with a 7. But what I found really funny here is, because maybe it's just me geeking it off, but Collins and Stolzers has been a bit of a discussion most of the season as to who was the better option. And people have sided with Stolzers, I think, mainly because he plays most of the games when he's fit. But if you look here, 7.13 for Collins, 2 man of the match, 6 assists, 6 goals, 31 played. We go to Stolzers, 0.1 less, only 1 man of the match, 5 assists and 4 goals. So 1 assist less, 2 goals less, 1 man of the match less, and slightly lower average rating. And he's actually only played 3 more games than Collins overall. So Collins was the better pick. And to be honest, when Collins plays most of the games of the season, which doesn't always happen, he usually is the better pick. Just an interesting little comparison there that we all had at some point, I'm pretty sure. Chris Coleman, look at this. 14 headers, 12-1, 5 key. He started to steal some of the limelight from Gomer, hasn't he? When he plays at centre-back together, it's 20 for jumping. He's got aggression, bravery. So he's got the tackles in his locker and he's got the headers in his locker. So he's always liable to sneak some bonus. Yeah, Roy saying he saw Collins get top assists. Yeah, I've seen that as well a few times. I got one somewhere where he's got over 20. Got one where 18. It's the variable thing we've discussed a lot though, where Collins is on set pieces, so it can have vast differences in his output. That was a square from open play. That was from open play as well, to be fair. But we've seen with Dennis Wise, you can go from having a season where you get 1 assist to you get 13, basically because 12 corners got scored. Run through enough Sims and Fowler is top scorer. Anything is possible. Did I skip a game there? No, I didn't skip a game there. And finally, the game that's just happened. Andy's got a season where Draper is top. That explains his price. Yeah, fair enough. Everton, 4 shots on target, 8 total. Probably good for a goal, weren't they? Didn't do that badly on the possession. David Weir, Unsworth, the usual names at the back there that can do well on the key contributions. Adam France, Basidas ever top, Andy. Oh, the subtle trolls. I love it. Yeah, and Everton were basically dreadful, weren't they, really, for their players? I mean, outside of those defenders, nothing to report. And that was fresh after their FA Cup win. You'd expect morale to be high. Man United, nothing to play for. But no. Yeah, Van Nistelrooy still getting a 9 despite the blank. Here's those headed attempts again. Doesn't often work away, but this game it did. And that's probably why he got his 9 in the end. Could have sneaked man of the match because David Unsworth also got a 9. So there you go. Sylvester only 11 passes. Interesting. And he moved into centre back because Irwin came on. Only 11 passes at centre back for Man United. Interesting. Laurent Blanc with 14. Who's doubling game week 38? I think you missed the memo. Someone went Giggsy captain. Fair play on that. Love that. I mean, look at these attributes. This guy is an absolute tank. High average rating. Brilliant for all the right areas. Best winger in the game. Expensive, but probably could have got so much more. Oh, actually, I wanted to point something out to you guys who have got Veron in as captain. Obviously, he got the penalty, didn't he? But interestingly, guys who own Giggs will be interested in this. Let's go down. So, looking at set pieces for Man United. Free kick for Man United. Giggs lined up the free kick. He stepped up to take the free kick. So Giggs looks like he's on free kicks. This happens at least 3 times in the game where there's a free kick and it's Giggs, so it's not a fluke. We go to corner. Beckham's taking the corner. A free kick for Man United. Giggs lined up for the free kick. He struck the free kick. It hit the ball. So these are free kicks close to the goal, shooting, rather than the far away ones. Corner, Beckham. So basically, Veron is not on corners, and Giggs is apparently on free kicks. So just to throw that information out there, Veron, who sometimes takes all of that, seems to only be on penalties. And it was the same in that game. Giggs has 17 for set pieces, so it's a bit of a surprise that he that he takes them, but he can do. And I think that's where, again, you'll see on Sims that Giggs can occasionally get 25 assists for the season because he ends up taking free kicks and corners. The game doesn't just pick on that stat alone, which is strange because otherwise it will be more reliable as to who gets them. But they seem to have bombed off Veron after his physiotherapy from set pieces. Still got pens though. Right, I think that's everyone. Should we go? Let's look at the FA Cup quickly. Sunderland losing, obviously not having Phillips. Teal did well again. And Joe Maxmore, 2 assists and a goal. Kevin Campbell. But yeah, Everton winners of the FA Cup. Who saw that coming? Not me. McPhail should cost more than Veron. James Nelson, offset pieces on physio's advice. Bad for his hip. Yeah, he needs to chill, doesn't he? He needs to just relax. I can understand that thinking. Champions League final. Real Madrid, I think they already tweeted this out, but they ended up beating Lazio 3-0. Raul with the goal and assist. Peruzzi got sent off in the 40th minute. So a bit of a non-event from that point. They obviously carried a 1-0 lead into the game. So now we actually have Real Madrid versus Dortmund. Now I think, guys, the plan is after game week 38 on Sunday, me, Andy, and maybe someone else, hopefully Perfect Pete. I don't know if he's even been contacted yet, especially if he's a winner. I'm going to invite him on the stream. And I think the plan is to stream this live whilst just doing a review. So we'll stream the Champions League final live. We're going to stream all the way through the World Cup. That's the plan. All the way to the final, play the final, and then stop it at that point. Just talk through the game in general, any points that come out of it. Maybe if there's any transfers during that period, go through it all just while we're having a chat. Talk to Pete about his strategy, you know, how he's ended up doing so well, etc. Getting his insight. Obviously, you've heard me so much throughout the season how I look at the game, how I operate. But there's millions of ways to play this game. You know, you can use the stats, you can use form, you can use whatever. There's no right or wrong answer. So it'll be interesting to see how Pete's taken all that on and how he's applied it. You know, has he just got lucky? Has he made insightful moves? Has he used the stats off Whitebeard's site? How did he do it? So it's good to get another perspective. If he can come on, that would be great. Yeah, so there's no World Cup fantasy. It's just too short notice thing. I think that's generally the idea. None of this is confirmed. It's all still being discussed. But I think if Andy's still in the chat, that's the way we're looking at going for the final stream. Richard Bright won't be getting Golden Glove because England aren't in the World Cup, Billy. So he'll struggle with that one. This guy was the best player, apparently. But he only played, what? No games? Maybe their season's different. Okay, baffled at that one straight away. Oh, hopefully Dave too. Division 1 final day review. Ooh, yes, you did say that, didn't you? Always forget about the lowly Division 1. Okay, so it brings up playoff final straight away. Let's go to the league. So this was the final standings in the league for Division 1. Watford ended up champions. Millwall level on points with Man City, so I assume they both won. Let's go back. They won 2-1. Man City won 1-0. So did it get settled on goal difference? Looks that way. But we got Millwall automatically promoted. We then had the playoff games between City, between these four here. We can watch the playoff final too. Yes, we can do that. We'll do that as well on stream. We'll get that sorted, see who comes up. Wednesday bottled it. So yeah, the first leg, Man City won 2-0 away. One Chop, the goal machine. The Van Nistelrooy of this league, or the Viduka even, of this league. Did well. That basically secured them the win, didn't it? Efenikoku. 2-2 here. And then West Brom 2-0 and a 0-0 in the second leg. Darren Huckabee turned up this time. Forward securing it for him. Darren Moore. Can you see how the goals went in on the final day? You mean this game? Fox got a penalty. Moore just had a chance and found the net. Or do you mean on the final day of the league? Well, that was held for review, Storm Legacy, so your theory's just been blown out of the water straight away. Love that. Final day of league. Okay. Man City 1-0. In the 12th minute, Toure. I was thinking it was Kolo Toure there, who went to Man City. Yaya Toure, but no. Alun Toure. Tiato moved upfield with the ball, with Louis Jean in pursuit. Tiato put a low cross into the far post. Toure got three in the penalty area. Toure hit a hopeful looking shot. Toure was the scorer, with the hopeful shot ending Forest's dreams. No, that was Man City. Who was the other team? Millwall, wasn't it? Dolan and Evans. Cedric found himself in some space after Branston headed the ball down. McKinley hit in a corner. Dolan beat Marsh to the ball and scored. (1-1) going into the 81st minute. Evans looked to play it past Garner. Evans used his skill to go past Garner. Evans attempted to hit it in low. Evans scored a fine goal all round. So he went on a bit of a wonder run. Oh, it starts even here. Took the play over at the halfway line, continued his run, kept the ball moving, continued his forward advance. So a halfway line run from Evans. Giggs-esque FA Cup semi-final. Fair play. Off the bench as well. He's not a bad player, is he? Yeah, Forest, Gillingham and Grimsby. See ya. Love this from Gillingham. Against goals, 101. Imagine targeting them every time. Whoa. 4s, 5s. That would have been fun. 5-3, 4-0. Use your captain every week just to target whoever's playing Gillingham. Is Evans essential? Well, let's not get into essential chat. Right. The final team review then, guys, in terms of injuries. These decisions could last a lifetime. Ashley Cole, injured, went off during the game. 3 months. It's looking dodgy for the start of next season, isn't it? Would have been out for the World Cup if England were there. He's done. Where did Brighton finish? Let's check that actually, because it is banter, isn't it? They're Division 2, aren't they? Outside the playoffs. Dave. Mate. I don't care if you're on holiday. See the fixtures, they're all on the same day, Adam Latner. They're all today, Sunday. It's the final day. But I'll bring them up. And Wigan got promoted. Yeah. They're all here. All at the same time. Even in 2001 to 2002, that's how they rolled. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're checking conditions, Jay. Sorry, mate. We'll get there. It's Andy's fault. He wanted to see all that from the first division. Blame him for milking it. Upson's out for 2 months. Albertini, 60%. So it doesn't look likely to feature, does he? And Lauren is 10 days. So, who's that? It's probably Luzhny in at right back, isn't it? Maybe Dixon. Ashley Cole's out, so you'd have thought Van Bronckhorst to left back. Albertini's out, so there's a space in centre midfield. Maybe Bergkamp comes in to centre midfield. That's the kind of thing that's happened most of the season. Parler could obviously play there. Perez can play there. It is home to Villa. Adam saying Sol could be on pens. Depends if Perez is playing, doesn't it? I think he's been taking pens ahead of them all. But he's also had an early sub, so there is a chance for Sol for pens yet. Aston Villa, Cashlaw 94%. Merson's few days 90%, so could feature. Injured by Cheryl Cole. Jay Lloyd's out for 2 weeks with a twisted knee. The rest of them are absolutely fine. Could be a rep game because it's home. But Villa have actually got a higher rep than you would expect. I think they're 14. Obviously it could have changed a little bit during the season, but it's less likely in those scenarios. But it's not out of the question. Was Cashlaw 94 last week as well? Cashlaw hat-trick on the final day. That would be amazing. I'd love that. That would be so deserved. 5-goal thriller. Cashlaw gets 5 or something. Here are Blackburn's conditions. I know the name everyone will be thinking of, but Mr. Matt Jansen is 100%. He's slightly unhappy as he feels he has no support from his manager. Thinks his loyalty to the club should be rewarded. I assume that means because he's not getting a contract. Oh, he's got one for 3 years. So it can't be that. He's obviously been in good form. I'll tell you what it's going to be. The media is going to have bigged him up because of his form at some point, and the manager's going to have said he can do better or something like that, rather than do the praising. Always praise in this game, guys. Always praise. It's just the easy way out. That's it. It's Souness though. That is a good point, Andy. He's not going to praise him, is he? Bolton, still worse for wear in terms of injury. 57% 2 weeks for Henry, so he will not be featuring. None of these guys even play, do they? So it's not much point me clicking, but if you needed it, here they are. Hello Whitebeard, glad you could join us. 36-year-old Bergerson, 2 months. Gardner's 97. Nolan and Lee still suspended from that centre midfield position. Leicester away. Could be a decent game for him, for Leicester. No centre midfielders again. And no Hendry. Charlton, I think Fish, 90%, few days. It's probably the only significant one. Obviously still could play on that. Robertson's recovered from dead. He's now 85%. So jumped up pretty swiftly. He was flatlined the week before. He's content to stay at the club after they saved his life. Expect nothing less. But everyone else is good. The injuries have really started to run out towards the back end of the season, haven't they? We had a few mental weeks in there. When you combine with a load of red cards as well, it was really, really harsh at points, but definitely slowed down towards the end of the season. Just chance, I assume, more than anything else. Frankie Lamps, 10 days with a thigh strain, injured during training. Good job you sold him, Adam, for Veron, because he would not be available. Bolton will have no players left with retirements. Yeah, I don't think they've got much cash either, so it's going to be a lot of youth players stuck in. Although a lot of them just don't retire, I think. Leon Knight is 10 days with a groin strain, and Petit is still out for the season. So the only other thing is Melchior is now back from his suspension. It really is. Bolton going to struggle next year unless they make some good signings. Is there anything anyone wants to see from Chelsea? I don't think so. Yeah, you got pretty lucky with that. Well, I mean, he's a good pick, isn't he? Because the player did well. But, I mean, 5 goals for the season, 3 assists, 2 man of the match, 7. To suddenly pull an 18-pointer in a double. Timing is everything in fantasy. Derby. Sorry, guys. Struper, that punt's out. 2 months with an injury. I know he was high on your list. Iranio. Did he punch someone or something? I think he did. 3-match ban for Iranio. Everyone else is good. Lescott's now one of their star players. 20 for technique for Lescott. They must not have watched him play. Although, to be fair, he did have that one season at left back for Everton where he was utterly ridiculous. You know the answer, James. Home to a poor side. Potential, isn't it? As ever, it's always potential. There's nothing ever known or confirmed. I mean, look at Leeds. They played their full team at home to Southampton this time. Many of the times they haven't. Want Makoku to play? Ah, I see you're thinking. Well, there's a chance. Everton. Ferguson was already out 2 months. 90% Naismith, 10 days, chest injury. I think that's new. Wayne Rooney, who made the sub bench, is 94%. Could see his final game. Or his only game, I should say. Next week. Doubt it though. Rosinski, 99%. Unhappy, wants a new contract, retired from international football. Low morale. They are home to Saints though, which is a fantastic game, isn't it? The temptation is to punt on someone from Everton, such is the quality of the game. The problem is it's the quality of the players that you're then picking. Is a bit of a worry. This guy's got penalties. Could get lucky. But there's also the fact that they don't always play the same forwards, do they? You've got Joe Max Moore, Campbell and Radzinski, who could all feature up top. Ketspire even can, but I doubt he will. But there's no denying it is a good game. Here's a new one, guys. Well, James Nelson saying Radzinski from Marley is possible. Well, maybe this will cement that for you. Billy's saying worth keeping Radzinski home to Southampton. I mean, if you've got him in your team, I wouldn't take him out. There's no nailed forwards for Everton, but he generally does play. So I would expect him to, but you don't know. But people might have some Marley decisions. However, he's out for 1 day with a chest injury, 90%. How annoying. But, I mean, look how many games he's played. Whenever he's fit, he's played. I'm going to assume it is another Phillips and Shearer situation that he'll probably play. But it's a decision, isn't it? You'd like to think he could make the full match without coming off injured, as he's only got a chest injury and it's only 1 more day. But I'm trolling you now. How am I trolling you? Stubbed chest. Brian, you explain to me how I'm trolling. Is it with the Marley injury? Believe me, it wasn't me who made that happen. If it was down to me, I'd have injured him a long time ago and saved myself a lot of points going against me. Stubbed chest. Gashed chest. Love it. You might have even picked it up in this game with this, but you can't click it now afterwards. Oh, Malbronx going to Lyon. Often leaves the end of the season. There it is. Don't know if we knew that already. Steve Marley is going to Napoli. Transfer listed by request. Looking forward to his big move. See you later. Oh yeah, injured during training. Well done, Roy. Yeah, wasn't in the game then. Obviously, Corrigan, he doesn't fancy it either. So he won't be in season 2 if there is one for Marley, will he? Sad times. Ipswich. Fanidi 90%, a few days. Could find himself up front. Magilton's been injured forever. Everyone else is good. Tarico is back from his ban. Serini is wanted by Fiorentina. Wouldn't be surprised to see him leave either. That could hurt Ipswich. Take 0.5 back down off Horizon. Brian Newell, he wouldn't be in season 2 anyway, they got relegated. That is a very good point. But someone could have bought him in the Premier League. Not that I remembered that, but I'm going to style it out with that. Leeds. Harpal Singh 32, he won't be featuring, will he? Everyone else, apart from Kelly, who is suspended for 1 game, is fit and available. Including Mark Viduka, who's on 29 goals. Can he hit 30 for the season? Bridges is wanted by Rangers. Interesting. Now I think the scout has put out this tweet about which teams you want to leak, and I think Leeds are winning it by a landslide. So after this stream we should have knowledge of who actually plays. But given it's not a rep game, home to Liverpool, you would expect full strength, which should include Viduka, shouldn't it? Liverpool's a reasonably tough game though. But Leeds are epic at home, aren't they? I didn't do Leicester already, did I? No. Darren Eady, a week. Just missed the whole season. He'll be back for season 2. Everyone else is okay. They are untouched. Liverpool. Is this the first time all season there has not been a single flag? It's been a couple of times we've been close, or at least had Fowler on gardening leave. But it looks like their full team is available. Hippier played last game, didn't he? While Orange. He did and scored. What a troll. But survived the game, unlike Phillips. He's good. Man United. Here he is. Ronnie Johnson. 10 days. Who's got the gash counter out? How many injuries has he got? Ah, it says 3, but I don't think the game counts when they have reoccurrences. Pretty sure it doesn't. So it's a continuation of the same injury. So 3 weeks, 2 months, 2 weeks, as if that isn't long enough. Plus it doesn't feature his latest injury because he's still injured. The game doesn't do it until they finish it. It'd be interesting to see how many times he's come off as a result of injury. A lot, I suspect, is the answer. Everyone else is okay. Nicky Butts off to Celtic. Thank God Emerson didn't play the second game. Finally, the team picking the best team. I'm pretty downbeat, Rory. You'll see in a minute. Middlesbrough, it's only Fleming who is injured. Kneecap 1 month. Everyone else is good, aside from Mr. Crossley, who had his suspension carried over still. Misses the beginning of next season. Even Boxic is 100. Southgate, Festa, the works. Who do I think gets the United job? Who do I see get it quite often? I've seen Martin O'Neill get it. David O'Leary gets it lots. Yeah, see Storm Legacies put David O'Leary. That would be my guess, but yeah, I'm going to go with that, which will give them a direct attacking style, which will be interesting for season 2. Newcastle. Dyer was already double dead, we knew that. Dabi's is 90% few days. Shearer is orange 90%. So put the number in the chat. What minute does he come off injured this week? As ever, it that's a fair chunk of the season, isn't it, for a guy who hasn't even got that higher injury proneness. 90% out for a week with a broken toe. That pesky toe. I'm going to come back to this chat and see who got closest with which minute he goes off injured. We've got a 31, a 25. You win a prize. Don't know what that prize is yet, but we'll work something out. Solano is now wanted by Arsenal as well as Leeds. And he does end up at both those clubs quite often. More often for me at Arsenal. So they've entered the race to sign Nobby. $59 Super Troll. The prize is my sim data. Yeah, but the problem is that won't be any good because we'll already be past game week 38, and I'm not doing them season 2. It just takes too much time, especially as there'll be so many different factors. It will be almost impossible to match. I'll leave that to other people, mainly for my sleep. I need sleep, guys. Nobby goes to Leeds, no McPhail. Yeah, moves Bowyer into centre. I wouldn't say no McPhail, but definitely more rotation because Bowyer and Solano are pretty high rep. If he goes to Arsenal, it'll be better because they seem to just mess about with their midfield all the time. Cement that right wing down, at least we know who might be playing. So it could be good if he went there. He might end up being a decent pick at Arsenal. I imagine there'll be some rotation though, if that happens. Southampton, no one cares. Here's everyone's condition for the final day. Sunderland. I wish he'd voted Sunderland for the team league, guys. Phillips is orange, but he's 81%. Is he going to start like that? Given what's happened with him already, and comparing him to Shearer, which I don't even know if he can, but it just feels like it's similar. It looks like he probably is right, but that's low. I'm not a fan of that at all. I was not beat Rory. We did look where Letizia was going last time. I can't remember where it was though. Norwich. Yeah, that's a problem. Don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. Might still chance him. Game's not great. Could easily come off injured again. Could get 3 penalties. Tome's 90%, 10 days. Gray is a few days, 30%. So he definitely won't be playing. So could see Arca at left back. Because Michael Gray plays here, but we've seen it before where Bart Williams can basically fill in anywhere. It's hard to know where they'll go. They've also got McCartney, but hopefully, I mean, he could be in centre back if Tone doesn't feature. So if McCartney goes to centre back because Tone doesn't feature, then you would expect Arca will be left back. I would have thought. But they also had this guy on the bench and brought him on last time, so it's a bit of guesswork going on there. Yeah, Paul Mayo came in. That was off the bench though, so at the start, I'm not so sure. Tottenham. Ledley King still 2 weeks away. Steve Clements 77%, an orange. Casey Keller still suspended for 1 game, and Doherty still suspended for 2. So you would expect it will be a pretty similar team, right? Only thing is Anderton's back. So Anderton will go to right wing back, or potentially up front, and shove Rebrov at right wing back. He's in very good morale despite his string of shocking performances. Oh, Mayo started the league game, did he, Andy? Okay. Arca could be left wing then. To be fair, he rotates left back and left wing most of the season, so there's no way of knowing for sure. Is that West Ham have a clean bill of health? It's been a long time. Ready to tear up Man United. Home to Man United. Joe Cole. Wonder Show. Incoming. Maybe. But they got all their forwards back. And all their defenders. So there we go. I don't think morale matters myself, Pride, but it was intended to work in the game. Doesn't seem to. It just takes 1 game, and if the player's good, he can do well, and then it changes. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank's been a good example of this. There's multiple players. Dabizas last week, unhappy, pissed off, comes in, man of the match, 9. I don't think it matters. Surprise Cole not wanted by anyone yet. Minimum fee release scores 3.8. He got a new contract, that might be why, but yeah, the Sharks will come soon. You would expect. Often goes to Leeds. Let's look at the fixtures again one more time. So what do we think, guys? You guys tell me. Who do you think's going to do well? I need a final day transfer if I get rid of Phillips. Who should I look at? I think Leicester home to Bolton could be a good game. Obviously Leeds at home could be a good game. Everton at home to Southampton definitely could be a good game. Just don't really like any of their players. Even Derby home to Fulham, good game. Chelsea Ipswich. Blackburn Sunderland. And obviously Arsenal Villa. There's lots of decent home games, isn't there? Adam France saying Jeffers. Rooney punt. Come on, guys. Can I afford Henry? Well, I could do Van Nistelrooy to Henry. Can't afford him aside from that. That was my move penciled in if Man United were in the Champions League final, because I wouldn't have thought Van Nistelrooy would have played, so I'd have just gone straight to Henry, slapped the captain's armband on him. Phillips to Viduka. Could do that. In fact, I might be 0.5 short. Can't remember. But I think that's a valid move. I'm just not sure. I mean, Hippier and Hunshaw are fit. They can be pretty good. Hale saying I've got 2 free transfers and a bench boost. Which 2 out of Marley, Rebrov and Emerson should go? Well, I don't think Emerson will play if it's a full team, so he should probably be one of them. And out of Rebrov and Marley, only Rebrov is fully fit, so the sensible play would be to get rid of Rebrov and Emerson. Sorry, Marley and Emerson, right? But Marley could easily play. Adam France has got to worry about Marley and Phillips. Yeah. Jason Ewell, yeah, like that shout. I bought him in weeks ago just for his nice little run. Do like that. Hope he goes off. Goes off. I'm using that phrase again. Hope he does well. Job security here. Glenn Hoddle. Very insecure. Oh, I was just ahead of Andy. But yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Very insecure. Lose to Charlton? Probably. Gilberto Silva. Is that the Gilberto Silva? I think it might be. You know what I mean by the Gilberto Silva? The one we actually had in our league. Emerson was the most expensive transfer of 2002. Vieira easily the most expensive of 2001. 12.5 million for Albertini. Got robbed, Arsenal. You got robbed. So did Man City for Berkovic, to be fair. Bit of a pointless transfer that was, wasn't it? Especially if I end up getting Solano. Right, I think that's it, guys. I now have, what's the time? 1:30. I've got 5.5 hours to work out what my moves are, because my deadline is at 7 PM, and I will be at Peppa Pig World, as I said, for the games on Saturday. So I'll be logging in afterwards, almost doing Match of the Day challenge. Considering it'll be blazing hot sun, won't be having the phone out, won't be able to look at the screen. So I shall see you on the other side. Good luck, everyone. Honestly, I know a lot of people are rooting for me, and I really appreciate that. But everyone who's top of their mini leagues is in the top 10, is competing for something. Good luck with it. I'm sure you all deserve you know, some sort of reward out of it. I mean, the reward's been playing this game. I know it's cheesy, but it's been so fun, hasn't it? And yeah, I mean, people like Perfect Pete, Gunnar, all of these guys, they all deserve to win it. They've put just as much work in as I have, you know, even if it's behind the scenes or whatnot for themselves. So yeah, good luck to everyone. It's come down to a bit of a lottery on the final day. Can't wait. Remember, guys, in the description is the PayPal link. Sean's currently like 250 quid out of pocket making this site off his own back. It's literally to cover the costs. Do what you can. Good luck, and I shall see you after Peppa Pig World. Hopefully having won, but if I haven't, so be it. See you guys. Love ya.